Hey YouTube, this is FS Physicus, and this is winter in upstate New York. What am I doing out here in all this snow and the cold? Well, I bought a new handgun, and I wanted to share the first few rounds that I fire through it with you, and I wasn't going to wait till spring. So what I have for us today is the Ruger LC380. Okay. I don't know if you can see that too well from there, but the Ruger LC380. If you're into firearms and you haven't been living under a rock in the last 6 months, you'll know that the LC380 is Ruger's popular LC9 rechambered for the 380 auto cartridge. I won't go into a real in-depth review here at this time. However, the LC380 does have all the same features, the same form factor. Now, form factor is just a fancy way to say that it's the same size and shape as the LC9. Same controls, you know, loaded chamber indicator, manual thumb safety, slide release. The takedown pin works the same way. Magazine disconnect, all of that is exactly the same as the LC9. Interestingly, the weight is a little bit more, and I think there's a couple of reasons for that. Obviously, since the barrel and everything fits in the same volume of space, but it's drilled out less for a shorter cartridge, there's more metal there. So I think the LC380 weighs about 1/10 of an ounce more than the LC9. The other thing is that I do have rounds in the magazine, but there is not a round in the chamber, or else my loaded chamber indicator would be up. But in order to handle the shorter 380 rounds, the magazine has a spacer, a metal spacer in the back that keeps the rounds pushed toward the front of the magazine. And I believe that might also be where some extra weight is found. Okay? So, I'm going to go ahead and put the first 7 rounds, that's the capacity for this in 380, through this. My steel targets are out there at 12 yards, 36 feet, so let's see if we can make that happen. I have not fired this particular handgun yet, so we'll see how I do. Just want to point out that even though I'm doing this solo with no cameraman, you know, I don't ever stop the camera to, you know, make myself look better. So if I have a bad day shooting, you'll see a bad day shooting. So let me put this in my back pocket, put my ears on, and let's see if we can hit some targets. Oh. Yeah, the hearing protection doesn't agree so well with the hood on the back of my jacket, I see. And this will be interesting. I'm not used to firing a handgun with gloves on. I'm hoping that the trigger guard is big enough to let me. I may have to take that glove off. That'll be a little cold. Okay. Things I do for YouTube, right? Okay, well, here we go. You may not want to be here. Sorry, my wife has just come out toward the range here with our dog, who he doesn't appreciate the sound of gunfire. Well, that doesn't seem so good, but I've got to get used to where the sights are. I will tell you the recoil on this particular firearm is very light. The sound is a lot more than a 22, but the recoil seems very much the same to me. So I'm going to stop the camera, go ahead and reload my magazine. I only have the one that came with the firearm, so I won't bore you watching me reload rounds. And then we'll try and see if I can't do a little better with the hit percentage here. Okay, YouTube, let's try this again. Loaded up with another 7 rounds. Let's see how we can do here. This is, by the way, just some Tull ammo, full metal jacket. I'll be honest, I'm a little relieved that I don't have to be worried about recovering brass today, because it would be kind of hard to do that. Quite a cold job. Okay, well that's a lot better. I didn't count the hits and misses while I was actually shooting, but I'll take a look at that after when I review the video. Okay, so I'm going to stop the camera again, load up one more time, and we'll take another little few shots here with it. Okay, YouTube, well, I had a little bit of a technical glitch there, so let's go ahead and load up. There we go. And we'll go ahead and see if I can hit anything with this LC380 from Ruger. Seems like we had a round that didn't go all the way into battery, that last round. So we'll keep an eye on that in the future. But anyway, there we go. So there's 7 rounds of Ruger LC380. Let's go ahead and reload. I'll be right back. Hey YouTube, I'm not sure what happened there, but I think on the last magazine, maybe I had batteries die, or for some reason the camera shut down on me. So unfortunately that footage looks like it was lost. But we'll go ahead and load up again, shoot some more. I plan on going through the whole box of 50 rounds here, while I'm shooting today. So hopefully I'll get to share most of that with you. Okay YouTube, well, the light is getting lower here. However, I still have some more ammo. And let's see about putting some more rounds through the LC380. I do notice the magazine seats a little hard, but that may break in over time. Okay. One thing I've noticed is the trigger does have a long reset, so you've got to let it come all the way back, and I'll admit my hands are getting pretty cold at the moment, and it's kind of tough to feel my fingertips. So I noticed that one time I went to pull the trigger and it hadn't reset all the way, and I couldn't, of course, pull it until I let it all the way out. So that's something you may want to know. Alright, I'll go ahead and load up again and we'll go through another magazine full. Oh, one thing I do want to point out is that there is a magazine disconnect. So, now that I've got the slide, I can't pull the trigger with the magazine out. You can put the magazine partially in, so I'm not all the way seated here, and then you can pull the trigger. I'm not a fan of the magazine disconnect. I understand why people say, you drop the magazine, there's a round in the chamber, and people can still, you know, oh, it's safe, and they shoot themselves or somebody else. I get that. But when I'm working with the firearm, I really like to be able to, after I've racked the slide, to, you know, to drop the hammer or release the striker or whatever, and you know, to prevent from keeping tension on it long term. And with the magazine disconnect, you know, I gotta fudge with it to get it to do what I want, and that kind of is annoying. It's not a deal breaker, it's just annoying. Okay, one more time. I gotta tell you, despite the adverse conditions out here, this is a really fun gun to fire. Oop, didn't get it all the way in. Battery. Well, here I can show you that right now. Okay. So I noticed that the round that was trying to be chambered did not go in. Okay. So I know there is not a round in the chamber. Although the loaded chamber indicator, actually, I apologize, there actually is a round in there. Loaded chamber indicator is up, and I can see it through a small gap here. That's why you've always got to be very careful with firearms. I think that was 7 for 7 actually. Okay, so I've got 8 more rounds. I'll put one in the chamber and load 7 in the magazine, and we'll go from there. Okay, YouTube, this is the last magazine I've got. I've actually got one in the chamber. Safety is on, and we're ready to go. So this will wrap it up for today. Safety is off. I'm happy with 7 out of 8 hits, and I'll tell you that that target, I think you can see, has spun around. And what happened is, you know, the quote-unquote target hangers have a, you know, bent piece of metal at the bottom to hold them straight. Well, that snapped off. So now the shaft of the target hanger is free to spin, and you know, when you do hit it with a bullet and that plate starts swinging, it starts moving around. In this case, that target, not the leftmost one, but the next one over, has actually turned this way, so the plate is, you know, not perpendicular to me, and I'm kind of seeing it at an angle. By the way, just so you know, there is no one back here, so if I point toward you and I'm sweeping the camera, I'm pointing at anyone, there's no one out here behind me. So let me wrap this up. I'm very impressed with the Ruger LC380. It's a lot of fun to shoot, first of all. Recoil is very light, very manageable. And of course, again, when I rack the slide, I want to pull the trigger and take the tension or whatever off the springs in the firearm. So I'm going to put the magazine back in that's empty. I'll point it. Loaded chamber indicator is down. We'll point it off in a safe distance and snap. Okay. So I'm really impressed with the LC380. I'm not a big fan of the magazine disconnect, as I said. However, all the other controls I like. You know, there's a manual thumb safety for those of you who want to use that. You know, slide release, takedown. I'll do a tabletop review on this and show you the takedown and everything. I'm sure you've seen it before. It's really not much different than an LC9. As a matter of fact, I don't think it's any different than an LC9. All in all, though, I'm really pleased with this. This is a lot of fun to shoot. I wasn't sure being such a small firearm and being chambered in 380 if I'd like it, but it turns out that you know, after 50 rounds, I'm very impressed. Seems to be a good firearm, and I'm sure it's something that I'll carry pretty frequently, and that I will take out and practice with that. And I think for something you're going to carry concealed, that's what you get out and practice with. Okay, well, I think that wraps it up, YouTube. Thank you very much for looking in on me. I'll see you next time.